Selection sort. Description. This sorting algorithm is an in-place comparison-based algorithm in which the list is divided into two parts, the sorted part at the left end and the unsorted part of the right end. Initially, the sorted part is empty and the unsorted part is in the entire list. The smallest element is selected from the unsorted array and swapped with the leftmost element, and that element becomes a part of the sorted array. This process continues moving unsorted arrays boundaries by one element to the right. This algorithm is not suitable for large data sets as its average and worst case complicities are of 0 n squared, where n is a number of items.
Selection sort algorithm. For each index position I, find the smallest data value in the array from position I through length is the number of data stored. Exchange or swap the smallest value with the value at position I. So, tara, step-by-step algorithm. Step 1, set min to location 0. Step 2, search the minimum elements in the list. And step 3, swap the value of the location min. And step 4, increment min to point to next element. Repeat until list is sorted. Okay. Ayun, money. So, how selection sort works? Money example sa selection sort. Okay, for the first position, which is 29, the first position in the sorted list, the whole list, so kani atong 36. Scan na siya sequentially. Sunod siya scan and mangita na siya og katong pinaka lowest value and iyahang iswap kung asa nakabutang si 29. So scan siya, nakita ang 13 kay mo siya yung pinaka lowest value, so swap siya, and the same in sa second position na swap na siya 13 nasa second position which is 72. Same yapon na procedure, mag scan yapon siya, ngita siya sa pinakagamay nga value and kita niya ang 29. So 29 swap siya kung asa nabutang si 72. And sa third position, the same process siya pon is applied to the rest of the items in the array. So the same yapon sa third position, 98, ngita siya sa lowest value 36, so swap siya sa 98. Mao ni ang example sa selection sort. So mao ni ang kaning pagkuan kanang sequence na 13, 29, 36, 51, 52, 66, 72, 87, and 98. And mao ni ang procedure or code sa selection sort.
So selection sort has its advantages and disadvantages. So first, we are going to explain its advantages. So the main advantage of the selection sort is that it performs well on a small list, meaning na its performance is better when we are dealing with small list of items. Just like, for example, based on our own experience, na if we are carrying small objects, it is easier to carry. Next, no additional temporary storage is required, meaning that we don't need any temporary storage so that we can put the items. Next is its disadvantage. So the primary disadvantage of the selection sort is its poor efficiency when dealing with a huge list of items. So its disadvantage is the opposite of its advantage. So meaning that when we are dealing with a huge list of items, its performance is poor, unlike when we are dealing with a small list of items. Then next, the selection sort requires n squared number of steps for sorting n elements. So we need an n squared numbers so that we can sort the n elements.
Linear regression algorithm. Description. Linear regression is a machine learning algorithm based on supervised learning. It performs a regression task. Regression models a target prediction value based on independent variables. Linear regression is an ML algorithm used for supervised learning. So when we say ML algorithm, it's a program, includes math and logic, and adjusts themselves to perform better as they are exposed for more data. Linear regression performs tasks to predict independent variables based on a given independent variables. It is most used for finding out the relationship between variables and forecasting. Different regression models differ based on the kind of relationship between dependent and independent variables they are considering and the number of independent variables being used. So these regression techniques finds out a linear regression relationship between dependent variables and the other given independent variables.
Linear regression performs the task to predict a dependent variable value based on a given independent variable. So, this regression technique finds out a linear relationship between x and y. Hence, the name is linear regression. In the figure above, x is the work experience and y is the salary of a person. The regression line is the best fit line for our model. Two variables, x, which is an independent variable, and y, which is the dependent variable. This regression technique finds out, so the purpose of this linear regression is to find out the linear relationship between our input, which is the x, and our output, which is the y. Our input here is the work experience and the output is the salary of a person. Based on this image here, as it is shown, we can see here a line going upwards. Let's say that this x here denotes the years of the work experience of a person, and these are his salary. So if a person's work experience is 5 years, his or her salary may be in line here with 50,000. And since it is a slanting line, we can say that salary of a person increases as the years of his work experience also increases, or the other way around. The longer his or her work experience, the higher the salary. Moving on to the next slide. Hypothesis function for linear regression. This is a hypothesis function where x is the input training data, univariate minus one input variable times parameter, and y is the labels to the data or supervised learning. This is the intercept, and this is the coefficient of x. And we can also use another formula, which is the y equals mx plus b, where y is the dependent variable and m is the slope, x is our independent variable, and b, which is the y-intercept. That's all. Thank you.